So I'm going to make some barbecue chicken today. So I'm going to make my bourbon glaze. And so we're going to start with some garlic. 1 large clove or 2 small cloves of garlic. Now I'm going to use lazy garlic today. And I'm going to use what? A teaspoon and a bit. If you like it stronger, put more in. If you don't, put less in. We're going to use some soy sauce. Use about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Oops, can you see? No. 1, boiling stuff. 2, 3, going in. It asks for honey usually, this recipe, but I haven't got any honey. And it asks for ginger, but I don't have any normal ginger. So I'm going to use some stem ginger. Now stem ginger has a syrup inside it, as you can see here, and I'm going to use that for the honey and for the ginger flavour. 1, bit of ginger there, never mind, all helps. 2, 3/4 of a cup of Jack Daniels. Pop it in with your heart is what I say. Some light brown sugar, and we want 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And the last ingredient, which is the good old smoked paprika to give it that good smoky taste. So I'm going to pop in there about a teaspoon. I'm going to bring this to the boil and let it thicken so that it has a chance to amalgamate all those lovely spices and things. So here we are with glaze for my chicken, and it's boiling dramatically, which is what we want. I'm going to give it a little bit of a swirl, and we're going to let it reduce well down, and then we're going to put it to one side and let it thicken. Now you can alter this if you wish. Putting some tomato sauce in might be an idea if you wish, or tomato puree, just to give it a more richer flavour. My sauce has been boiling now for about 5 minutes and it's reduced. So what I'm going to do is put it into this flat bowl to let it cool down. I want it to cool down quickly because I should have made this earlier and I didn't. So we're going to let that cool down and then pop some chicken in it. So my sauce has cooled down enough now to put my chicken in. Have on this occasion some fresh boneless chicken that I've had in the freezer. It's chicken thighs. What I'm going to do is just pop them in here and let them marinate. So these are skinless and boneless, so I'm just gonna pop it in and turn it over. Excuse fingers, I know it's bad, but I've got some hot water sitting to the side there. So pull off any excess skin that there is. So here's my chicken, and basically these are my chicken thighs. I'm just cutting off the bits off the edges so I don't have any nasty bits. I'm supposed to have got rid of all the skin, but there's a bit of it on there. Pop it over, turn it over and leave it. As you can see, I am not a chef in any way, shape or form, so anybody could do this. The whole point is you're cooking it for your family, and at the end of the day, as long as it tastes good. Cover my chicken in cling film and leave it to rest. So I'll come back in an hour just to turn it over, but for now that's going in my fridge. So I've had my chicken marinating for a wee while, about what, 2 hours now. So I'm going to pop it onto a baking sheet, which I've prepared with some tin foil, and we're going to cook it in the oven for about 20 minutes. I'm going to spread it out so it's flat, so it doesn't take as long to cook. So I'm just going to pop it on. So that's that. Pop this in the oven. Gas mark 7, 20 minutes until cooked. Been in there about 20 minutes now. It smells really good. I'm just going to check the temperature of it, and it should be about 85 degrees or more, which it is. 80 odd degrees, so that's, yeah, that's good. So I'm going to pop it into a bowl for everybody to get their own from. Let it drain a little bit, pop it in. When it's got a little bit of charring on the top, it's delicious. These can be grilled, fried, barbecue or air fried. So that's that finished. Okay, so I'm going to make potato salad. So these potatoes have been boiled and let go cold. There was a few more than that, but it looks like somebody's been eating them. So it is what it is. So I'm going to chop these potatoes up into pieces. They're just new potatoes, so I'm going to chop them lengthways and then across the way. I'm going to make them as small as possible. just so they go further really more than anything, because my father-in-law's coming for lunch. If you get little bits of skin coming off like so, just pop it to the side. If you want them bigger, I usually when there's more, I do them about that big, which is what, top of my finger. But on this occasion, because somebody's eating a load of them, I'm having to do them smaller. Typical family life, I think. But it's a good way to use up your potatoes in the summer, especially if your family aren't very keen on cold potato. Down the middle, down the quarter, and then little pieces coming off. Don't try and peel them all, guys. It gets on your nerves and it's good roughage for everybody. So we've chopped up our potatoes. The next thing we're going to add is spring onions. This is purely a personal taste, this one, I'm afraid. If you like onions, stick them in. If you don't, put some chives in, they're good. I find spring onions to be a little bit better because there's more bite to them than there is chives. But it's up to you. I'm going to chop these into nice little circles, take the ends off so we don't have the scabby bits on the ends, and chop them relatively fine. It's up to you. If you want them chunkier, go for it. As I say, this is purely up to you. Cooking at the end of the day is about what you like, not what a chef says or what I say, but what you like in your recipe. Greens and whites going in here. Don't waste any of it. No point. It's like your leeks. Use the greens, please, people. Waste not, want not in this day and age. So I'm going to pop that in. I think I might do another one because there's quite a bit of potato in there and I want sort of like an even distribution throughout. If you've got a potato salad recipe that you like and you want to share, please send me a picture and give me the recipe and I'll put it on my channel. I'm always looking for a new potato salad recipe. This one I've had for years. I've tried some of the German salad recipes before. I'm not a big fan. But if you've got a recipe that you really love, then please send me it and I'll feature it on my channel. I'm going to shove those in. Next I'm going to put in some salt and pepper. Now generally I would add boiled egg to this as well, but I haven't got any, so I'm going to skip that bit today. And I'm going to put in quite a bit of pepper, salt and pepper, because as I've said many times, potatoes can take seasoning. So if it looks like a lot, I apologise, but it does need it. Next, I'm going to add a mixture of mayonnaise and low-fat natural yoghurt. I really can't stand too much mayonnaise in my food, so I like to mellow it out with yoghurt. I'm going to start off with probably equal ratios. It's the other way around so you can see. So, excuse the noises. About a dessert spoon. 2 dessert spoons, we'll go for 3. 3 dessert spoons of mayonnaise and 3 dessert spoons the 0% Greek yogurt. Now you can use the full fat one if you wish. I wouldn't recommend soya, I've got to be honest, but certainly this one we're fine. So there's 1, 2, 3, and we're going to mix it all in. I like this natural balance between the Greek yogurt and the mayonnaise itself. And as you can see, that was more than enough mayonnaise. Just pop those back in. All I need to do now with this is sit it in the fridge covered until we need it. So while my chicken's in the oven, what I'm going to do is make a salad. And it's pretty cheaty, the salad, I'm afraid. So I've got some leftover party salad from Tesco's. You can use any salad leaves you want. I'm just going to pop it in there. Sweet corn, onions, etc. And I'm going to pad that out with some mixed salad leaf, which I've got here. So, oopsie, nearly dropped it on the floor, which I didn't, thank God. And I'm just going to break up the big bits into smaller pieces, just so that they're easier to manage when they're on the plate, because we do have a couple of relatives that struggle with food and stuff when it's big. And then just mix that in a bit. Now to this, I'm going to add spring onions. So I want 2 spring onions. I like my spring onions in my salad. So as before, if there's any bad bits, any sort of dry bits, take them off. Chop the end off. And then take the other end off as much as you can to get rid of the dry bit. And start and chop. Don't use my knife skills as a guide, by the way, guys. My fingers are always in the way. I am not a professional at this by any stretch of the image. There we go. That's one done. And I'm just going to pop it into my salad. Make sure it breaks up into little pieces. It's always nice. So all I'm taking off is this bit here, see the dull bit. So if you just peel it back and get rid of that, because nobody wants to eat the dry bit. And then, whoopsie, chop off the end. Chop off the other end, because you've got dry bits. This bit here that's looking a bit dry, just chop that off, because the other bit's okay. And just slice. Now if you've got any herbs, you can stick some herbs in, like coriander, mint's nice in here. Next we're going to do tomatoes. So now I like little baby tomatoes, these ones here. So I'm going to take a load and chop them in half. So in the middle, and in they go. Just throw them in, it's fine. Get rid of your stalks. Oh, they smell delicious. They smell like they've just come off the vine. Wow. Okay, I tell you, and as well, this is another thing I like to add to my salad. It's an unusual element, I would say, in most salads, but it is good, and it's grapes. Just adds that hint of sweetness. You don't need loads, just enough. If you want to add loads, mind, it's up to you. But I slice them lengthways. These are seedless grapes, by the way. They've been washed, dried, and I'm just popping them in. We've got a bit of cucumber. Now then, cucumbers, I love cucumbers. However, I find it's up to you, it's what you can afford, but if you can afford the organic ones, try the organic ones, because I find the flavour is so much more different to what it is for the others. It actually tastes like it's just come off the plant, in my opinion. So I chunk mine and quarter them. If you want to do it differently, feel free. If you want to add something different, feel free. Just thought I'll add a pepper as well, because peppers are nice and we need a bit of yellow in there, in my opinion. So I'm going to cut down the way. I'm not going to put it all in, but I am going to put some of it in, because it's nice for a bit of crunch. And just, okay, so a bit of salad cheese. Now this one is from Tesco's and it's marinated, but generally I use normal feta, just everyday feta that you can that you can cut up yourself. Pop these over. They've got herbs and chilies and a bit of garlic in there, but it's not very spicy. If you're worried about scaring off your bellies, don't be, it's fine. Now I'm going to chop my lemon in half. Looks like a good lemon, that as well. Put it through my hands and pop it in there, just in case there's any pips, which there aren't in that bit. There are in the other, I've noted. So all I'm going to do now is give that a bit of a whisk to amalgamate it. A bit of pepper. Don't need a lot of pepper because there's chilli in there, but it is nice to have that pepper in the background there. And then over your salad, Now I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute until I'm ready for it, and then I'm going to toss it. So this is what we've got. We've got salad, potato salad and chicken. Bon appetit!